10 reasons I enjoy ham radio more in Idaho than I did in California. And go. I'm enjoying ham radio a lot more here than I was in California, and there's just a few basic reasons. Number 10. Here, I enjoy Studio A, which is almost done, and I will enjoy Studio B when I finish that one, but the opportunity to have two distinct shacks in one place, awesome. I could never imagine doing that back in California. Yeah, there's a few things that I still need to do here in Studio A. Looking for a vertical antenna. I'm pretty settled on the DX Commander. I think I'm pulling the trigger on that this week. I've got to replace the 80-meter dipole. Also, winter is coming, and it's getting about time that I waterproof or weatherproof those connections outside. Now, Studio B is a blank canvas. Haven't even started on it yet. I've got my equipment is being stored in there right now. Plans include a wraparound desk, which will be a built-in with enough room for all the equipment that I could muster in there. It's gonna be a fun station to build. It's gonna be an even more fun station to operate. Some of the new big things that I'm going to have out in Studio B. Now, Studio B also lets me put in my Yaesu Fusion repeater and the big giant fan noise that I had in the house in California. I won't hear that anymore. That's going to be really nice. The Yellowcraft K-Line, that's going to be the main system in there. But you never know what's liable to show up in Studio B. Number 9. Is the room to spread out and put multiple antennas for both of my studios. Being able to put the tower out back there by Studio B and hang whatever I want. Plus, I'm going to have another tower out there exclusively for the K6UDA repeater. Or out front of Studio A, I've already got one dipole hung, 80-meter dipole, and I also have the Diamond X50 that's up on top of the roof. I'll be able to replace the 80-meter dipole with this dipole, which has been sitting here in Studio A for quite a while now. And pretty soon, I should be taking delivery of a DX Commander Classic. That'll be a fun one. And then I'll have the ability to switch between a horizontal antenna and a vertical antenna, depending upon the conditions and kind of my experimenting. The hell does that mean? I'll be able to switch back and forth between the two of them at the whims of King Bob! Number 8. See, in California is so big, there's so many operators there that it has its own call zone. A 6 call in California is kind of like driving a 1998 Honda Civic. Nobody cares, nobody wants to see you, and nobody wants to talk to you unless it's a California QSO party. Out here in Idaho, we don't have all that many operators, so getting Idaho from the rest of the country is still a bit of a thing. And having that 6 call out here, that's still giving me a little bit of an edge because guys on 40 meters, well, they actually hear me. Number 7 is the weather. Yeah, the weather's beautiful in California for the most part, but I'll tell you what. 100-degree heat on field day sucks the life out of you, and unless you learn to embrace the suck, you almost just want to be in the air conditioning somewhere. Here in Idaho, we have actually 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and actual fall that's beautiful, and then winter. In California, it's about 100 degrees until mid-November, and then you've got 4 days of fall, and then you go immediately into winter. Number 6 is my noise floor. Now, for those of you that don't know what a noise floor is, let me explain it very quickly. So now what your noise floor is the basic level of noise that you have on an HF radio or any radio for that matter, and that is that amount of static. Along with that amount of static comes a little number on your S meter. And that number will vary from S0, which is no perceivable noise, all the way up to 20 over. Now, back in California, my constant noise floor for about the past 3 years has been S8 to S9, which means signals that are under that are under my noise floor. And what the noise floor does, that's where you can't hear anything down here, or it's really, really tough. Now out here, my noise floor, my general noise floor is S2 to S3, which means I could hear almost everything that's going on the bands. It is wonderful. Why is my noise floor so high in California? In California, marijuana is a huge business. Big, big business. There's growers all over the place. And I happen to have a grower that lived down the road from me. Now, having a grower with a commercial grow means you've also got grow lights so they could grow throughout the year. Those grow lights put out a tremendous amount of RFI. It's horrible for radio. And I know a few of you have told me, well, why don't you go tell them that you could help them fix their problems so you don't have to report them to the FCC? Awesome advice. Let me know how that works out for you. Now, the other thing in California is solar power. All new construction in California must have solar power. And so a lot of the builders use the cheapest solar panels, solar infrastructure that they could get a hold of to make as much money as they can on the sale of the house. Noise floor comes right up because, hey, solar panels are dirty, just like those grow lights. Number 5. The outdoor scenery. Yeah, California's beautiful. There is a ton of gorgeous scenery there. But now in the last, 2 years with COVID, California's closed. Governor Gruesome Newsom has closed beaches, parks, campgrounds, you name it, it's closed because everybody must stay indoors and not get out in the sunshine in outdoors. Because as opposed to Idaho, where everything is wide open. And I love the fact that there is BLM land everywhere. I can go into the mountains. I can go anywhere I want and operate. POTA, SOTA, everything is open. Which brings me to number 4. Here in Idaho, there's plenty of BLM land for me to ride the side-by-side, do Jeep runs and everything. And what is so cool about Idaho is I could take my side-by-side, drive it on the street legally, and even drive myself to my favorite trails. Back in California, if you even fire up your side-by-side without a helmet on, I think you violated like 4 laws. And speaking of camping, like I said, in California, it's reservations everywhere you want to go. Here, if you find an open spot somewhere that is pretty and you like it, pull over and camp. It's open camping all over the place here. I defy you to show me a place in California where you can do that. Now, here in Idaho, I also get to combine 2 of my favorite pastimes, ham radio and shooting sports. I can take firearms out into the wilderness with me anywhere I want to go. I could fire guns and play ham radio on the same day in the same remote locations. Try that in California and see how fast Bubba becomes your boyfriend in prison. Number 2, 440 is actually a thing out here. Now, back in Northern California, there's this thing called PAVPAWS, which is the U.S. Air Force scanning for space junk. They use radar and they use the 440 band to do that. Now, what sucks for amateur radio in Northern California is the fact that the Air Force scans for space junk and they use the 440 band to do that. It means if you put a repeater on the air on the 440 band, you're liable to get it shut down, or they're liable to tell you, you need to turn this thing down to like 1.5 watts ERP. And speaking of repeaters and putting a repeater up, out here we don't have nearly the amount of people. Hey, you know what? 40 million people, 1.8 million people. And a lot of the repeaters in California were set up 40, 50 years ago. And some of these guys have long died, but it seems as if their repeater pair hasn't. And finding a pair in California is next to impossible, especially with the fact that 440 isn't even a thing. Out here, the K6 UDA Fusion repeater will be back on the air as soon as I get my tower up, and that is going to be a lot of fun. Now, the number one reason I love being an Idahoan, in the 10 months that I've been gone out of California, that crazy train keeps going off the rails, and it runs faster and faster and faster. It is insane the amount of new laws that they have passed in California in just the past 10 months. Now, mind you, this is just a sample of the 770 new laws that California passed in 2021. California has gone off the crazy train with the gun violence restraining orders, basically making it possible for anybody that's ever known you to get a gun violence restraining order against you, denying you of your Second Amendment rights. Persons in California old enough to serve in the military and die for their country are not old enough to purchase not just handguns, but shotguns and rifles also. Some of the other fun things that California is doing is they are banning the sale of gas-powered leaf blowers, lawnmowers, and other yard equipment. Yay, that'll go over great. Law enforcement will no longer be able to wear camouflage because that'll make us safer. And I guess I can't blame this one on the government because the people themselves voted to restore the voting rights of felons in prison. This is wonderful. My friends in California, you have just voted to allow two wolves and a sheep to debate what's for dinner. So there's current law in California that says if you have a company and you have over 50 employees, you have to offer your employees 12 weeks of family leave. California, in all its infinite wisdom, has now decided that companies with more than 5 employees are going to have that same rule. Riddle me this, Batman. How does a company with 5 employees lose 1/5 of its workforce and remain viable? Ah, yes, no more single-family housing in California. Oh, no. Gruesome Newsom just signed legislation that bans single-family home zoning everywhere in California. Isn't that nice? Well, I guess you guys in California won't have to worry about a housing bubble because the prices of single-family homes in the next 5 years are going to skyrocket, and they'll skyrocket forever. And all this is in addition to the paper straw laws, the 10 cents per grocery bag laws, the background checks to buy ammunition laws that don't work. Our current supply chain crisis, that they call it, is caused in great part by California. You see, several years ago, California passed a law that no semi-trucks older than 2011 are allowed to operate in the state. And then, I think it was 2 years ago, California also decided that independent truckers are no longer welcome in California unless they belong to a union. But I thought you became an independent trucker so you didn't have to be part of a company or part of a union. And all these fun things are in addition to all the other fun things you get to do in California, like the PG&E public safety shutoffs, where they tell you they're shutting off your power just because it's fun. But then again, during those public safety shutoffs, my noise floor went down to S2 or S3. That was cool. See, guys, I'm trying to have fun with this, but in reality, I'm a political refugee out of California. I make no bones about it. Anywhere in the country except California or possibly New York, please heed my warning. Don't let the crazies take over in your state. Because once they take over, your state is done. I think California, there is no chance for a recovery in California. They're going to continue to swim in their shithole for the rest of their lives. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Meant to be more fun than educational, but hey, you know what? We all gotta have fun sometimes. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button now. And leave this video a big thumbs up. You can smash it right now. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. We'll catch you next time. I'm Bob, K6UDA, and I'm out of here. 7-3.